Shalom, man. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings. Another Wisdom Wednesday, man. Your brother Azrael here, the hopeful elect. We're hoping to, make our calling and election sure to be a part of that elect number in the kingdom, man. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get into this lesson, man. It's not going to be too long, just something to think about, and also some good points to make to some of our loved ones that are still lost sheep, right? Because we all have these conversations. Um, the conversation is man versus God, right? The conversation is you can't serve two masters. That's the conversation, right? So whenever you get in that conversation with the people that you love, reflect back on some of the things we'll talk about tonight. It shouldn't be too long of a video, man. Maybe 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes of your time. Hopefully you're edified. Hopefully it gives you some wisdom, right? The things we'll do for man, right? The things that we'll do for man. This is going to be regarding people inside the truth and outside the truth, right? And it boils down to excuses. First and foremost, we want to give all glory, honor, and praise to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who sent his son as an instrument of salvation for the nation. And that nation is Israel, right? Jumping straight into it, right? Don't want to waste no more time, man. It's jumping straight into it. We got Numbers 15 and 38. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read a few scriptures. Every time I read a scripture, y'all will catch the memo. I'm gonna give some worldly examples, right? Or some reality, some examples in our reality to make it come to life, right? And of course, we can pull a lot more scriptures than we're gonna do tonight, but you're gonna get the point. And you may be able to add to it, you know what I'm saying, in your notes or whatever may have you, right? But you'll get the point throughout this lesson by the end. So Numbers 15 and 38, it says, speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue, right? So right here, we're getting a dress code, right? We're getting a dress code right here. We know a dress code can be part of your culture or your heritage, right? Which we know our heritage was stripped from us. As it says in Jeremiah 17 and verse 4, that he would discontinue us from our heritage for a time. But we're getting our heritage back. And part of that heritage is a dress code. How you talk, what days you worship, what days are your holidays, you know what I'm saying? What language you used to speak. We're getting all that back, right? So we have to, you know what I'm saying, adopt it back into our lives. But the point I'm making here is the things we'll do for man. The things we'll do for man is something like this. We see that as commanding us to wear fringes, and for a good reason, to remember the commandments, right? And you can see these fringes on Native Americans garments, some ancient African garments. You can see it on some some garments in the Middle East, right? And they'll have it on some of their tablecloths and things of that nature with the blue ribbon. We can go into the dress code on that. But the point I want to make today is that there's brothers and sisters inside the truth, right? The knowledge of the truth, and brothers and sisters still living in the world and in deception and are blind still, the lost sheep, that will make excuses not to listen to the Most High God, right? They'll make excuses not to listen to God. Shalom to the brother. Shalom. For example, this is an example. I'm gonna tell you why, right? Type in the U.S. military, right? You see the U.S. military, they got a specific uniform on, right? You see how they standing in order right there? They got a specific way they're supposed to stand, right? If you look right here, you can see she has certain things on her, right? Let me go to military dress inspection. So right here's a few of them that are good. Right, we see that the Most High God gives us a dress code, and all of us, we take it as advice. We take it as a suggestion to wear fringes on the border of our garments. Right, we take these things as a suggestion, but the things that we'll do for man, we'll shave our beards for man. Right, we'll be clean shaven for man. We'll make sure that our beret or our hats are on like they're supposed to be. I believe it's what, 3 inches away from your eyebrow. We'll make sure that we do that, right? We'll make sure that these pins are where they're supposed to be, right? We'll make sure that all these buttons are buttoned, and we're prepared for the inspection because we don't want man to find us out, right? We don't want man to give us a bad grade. We don't want man to mess with our ranking. But we don't care about the Most High God that is going to give us our rankings, that's going to give us the favor in our life, that's controlling man. We don't care about God and what he got to say, right? What's another one? What's another one? Another one would be right. So nowadays, the medical nurse uniform has gotten kind of lax. But if you see right here, right, they used to have to wear these hats. They used to, if they wore a skirt or something or dress, they had to wear whatever it was, stockings or pantyhose. They had to wear certain things back in the day. Nowadays, it's kind of lax. You go into the hospital, you liable to see your nurse with booty shots and leggings. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of lax now, but back then, they had a uniform, and women were abiding by that uniform. Men were abiding by that uniform to keep their job, all for the sake of pleasing man and for that money, right? But for God, man, we don't take the same seriousness for God. Why is that? Maybe it's because we don't see the repercussions right there. Maybe because we're not as spiritual as we think we are, right? We don't claim to see how denying God's word or not doing God's commandments affects us physically, right? So we don't pay it no mind. You know what I'm saying? And that leads me to this. Uh that leads me to this, right? Leviticus 19 and 28, right? It says, "Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord." Right? Once upon a time, man, these jobs had a monopoly on everybody, right? I know a lot of you people that's born in the 2000s, you know what I'm saying? Y'all probably don't know about this, but back in the day, you couldn't get a job if you had tattoos. Back in the day, people were sacrificing their want for tattoos to get a sleeve, right? To get neck tattoos instead, face tattoos. They were sacrificing their want for that to get a good job for that money, right? Not because God said, not because God said don't print any marks upon you. They wasn't taking God's word serious, but they was taking man's word serious because man had the power to give them a job or not. Let me just tell you, God has the power to give you that job or not. He got the power to give you that promotion or not, right? So that's why you obey God first. And guess what? If you obey God, 9 times out of 10, you know what I'm saying? You go because God made this decree before man did. You see, man waver on their beliefs. Man get a little too much pressure from the crowd, they switch it up. Now you see doctors with full sleeves. Now you go into the military, you see brothers with full sleeves, sisters with full sleeves. You see people in these professional white collar jobs in suits and got neck tattoos, right? So you see, man is always wavering, but God never changed. So if you just do what God said, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna always be straight because God said don't print no marks upon you before the world said that. So if you was following God by default, you would have already had a good job. God would have put you in that position, right? But we don't take God, we take God lightly. We don't fear God for real. We take it as no print any marks upon you. That's a suggestion. That's good advice. And nowadays they're saying, oh, this is not written for everybody, it's written for the priests, right? Let me go to verse 1 real quick. Let's get the context. It's written for the priests. The context is, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, not just the priests. So I don't know where all these new age pastors are getting their ideology. Maybe because it says Leviticus and they know that the Levites were the priesthood. I don't know. But man, God talking to all of us. But the things we'll do for man, the things we'll do for man is crazy, man. We'll do anything for that check, anything for man's approval. But when it comes to God, we take it as advice, man, suggestion. Let me get another one, right? If you could read this real quick, Leviticus chapter 11, start at verse 1.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever parteth the hoof.
Like you can start right there after read verse 2 again.
Speak unto all the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which all the beasts that are on the earth.
Right. So the Bible give us our heritage, like we said before. It tell you what's clean and what's not clean. Hey, look, you don't even have to be a Bible believer for you to understand and know that the Bible talks about clean and unclean animals, right? So people can go into debate on whether we should eat these animals or whether we shouldn't, or X, Y, and Z. And that's how we know nobody fears the Most High God, because they take his words as advice or suggestion, right? Read verse 4.
Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divideth the hoof as a camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof. He is unclean to you.
Right. So once again, the things we'll do for man, we'll go to that crab boil and that cookout and eat all the pork and have a good time. And we don't want to make the menu. We don't want to be too picky, so the people don't have to worry about making the menu cater to us, and we don't have to be a burden to others, and they can just cook freely. Guess what, man? Most High God told us what we're supposed to eat and what we're not supposed to eat. And the crazy part about it is our people will go and get cancer. Our people will go and get these diseases and have all these different viruses and have all these medical symptoms, and let the doctor tell them, hey, look, if you keep eating this, you're going to die. Hey, look, you have an allergy to shellfish. And then we'll start doing things that the doctors say, the things we'll do for man. A lot of us, we get into, even in this truth, man, we claim that we don't take the doctor's word for granted, but the moment something bad go wrong, you running, passing all the red lights trying to get to the hospital. You ain't stopped to pray. You ain't stopped to fast. You ain't stopped to think about it. You just went straight to the hospital to get man's opinion, right? So I also want to say, kudos to a lot of our women nowadays, man, that's trying to do a natural birth and things of that nature, man, trying to understand if they keep the commandments of God, that he's going to be with you in childbearing, right? Now, I understand God does make good physicians for certain periods of time, like if there's an emergency, but I respect the women nowadays in this truth trying to. I'm gonna say trying because some of y'all ain't built for it, some of y'all are, but y'all are trying to. Y'all's mindsets have changed, man. Y'all are sticking with God first and making the hospital secondary, right? So I can you know what I'm saying, but to each his own on that topic. But what I'm trying to say is, man, we take man's word so strongly, but we take God's word so lightly. God's been telling us to not eat these foods. God's been telling us if we do these things that we're not supposed to do, that he's going to bring these diseases that's not even written in this book upon us. Talks about that in Deuteronomy 28, part of the curses. But because we don't see these curses happen immediately, right? Because the curses don't pull up on the computer screen and give us a diagnosis and tell us how many years we have left, or tell us, oh, your body's reacting to this, you have an allergy. We don't take the Bible serious, but we take man serious, right? Man can tell you have an allergy and you'll never eat it again in your life. Every restaurant you go to, you telling them. but let it be the Bible, then now you wavering. Now you kind of scared to tell them, does that have pork on it? Is this sausage pork? You scared to even ask that because you don't want to be a burden. But let man tell you allergic, or let man tell you have 4 years to live if you keep eating like this, and you changing your life. You being baptized in the word of the doctor and not giving heed to the actual doctor, right? I want to read this too. You can read this, Genesis chapter 2 and verse 3.
Genesis 2 and verse 3. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified
And God what?
And God blessed the seventh day and
Right?
sanctified it.
Right? Stop right there, man. God blessed the seventh day. Now I understand, man, Corinthians tell us we're not supposed to judge anybody on how they keep the holy days, right? Talking about Sabbath day here, right?
It's Colossians, I think.
Oh, Colossians or Corinthians, man. Thought it was First Corinthians, but nevertheless, right? I understand that, but you have to be keeping it. A lot of us, man, we making excuses not to keep it. Even in the truth, we making excuses not to keep the Sabbath day. Whatever that may be, man, our circumstances. But you got to remember, the Bible tells us that nothing. In Luke 14, the Bible tells us what? That man, that brother, sister, mother, father-in-law, mother-in-law, cousin, uncle, right? Nobody should come in between you and the Lord, right? No, nothing. Your job, your money should not come between you and the Lord. And he said he blessed the seventh day. I believe in Exodus chapter 31, it talks about, or Leviticus 31. I think it's Exodus 31. It talks about how he made the Sabbath to be a covenant with the children of Israel. It was a covenant, a promise, an agreement with us, just like that rainbow you see in the sky. It was a covenant with us, a perpetual covenant. But a lot of us, man, we take it as, man, it's another day, man. God will understand. I gotta do this for the fam. I gotta do this for the bag. I gotta do this to get promoted. I gotta do this to be in good standing. I gotta do this to seem normal, right? When it comes to our family, when it comes to our friends, when it comes to our job. Like it says God blessed the seventh day. Now we could say that the Sabbath day could be whenever you want it to be, and we could teach you that as milk before you get to meat. But here in Genesis, it's telling us it's a specific day. He blessed the seventh day and sanctified it. Right? Finish that out.
Because that in it he had rested from all his work, which God created and made.
Right? Because everything is a method to the madness. He's not just saying that just to say it. He's saying it because he did it first. But a lot of us, we don't care, man. We don't care about what God did, man. We don't care about what God said for real. It's all about me, 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 me. It's all about my circumstance right now. It's all about God will understand my circumstance. Don't you know God knew your circumstance before he even wrote it? Let this be written in a book. He knew about 2024 and what you would be going through before he even wrote this. So why would you think he would give you an excuse to do what you want to do and think that he'll understand? Right? Let's read this real quick.
Acts 17 and 28. For in him we live and move and have our being. As certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring.
Right? So the first part is what I want to make the note of. For in him we live and move and have our being. What does that mean? In him you have that job that you worried about getting fired from. In him you have that house that you worried about paying the bills for. In him you have that family that you worry about providing for. In him you have your being that you worried about sickness and health and all that. So why keep listening to man? We all believe this. We all believe and we all quote this and sing this in songs, and we all believe that we live, move, and have our being in God. But we act like we live, move, and have our being in our jobs and in man. We don't, the things we'll do for man, we will never do for God. And that's why God is the jealous God. because he sees how you treat him when it comes to your peers, right? You're more afraid of uh, a man and coming in your house with a gun. A man coming in your house with a gun and tell you to eat some pork, and you're gonna eat that pork because you scared of the man with the gun. A man could call you into his office and say, "Hey, if you don't work this Saturday, I'm sorry. You've been good with this company, but we're doing cuts. You're gonna have to get fired." You forgot that it's in God that you have your life and have your being. God can get you another job, but you so scared. What you gonna do? You gonna come in on Saturday, right? So this is just some things to think about. Like I said, man, 20-minute video, ain't got too much. You have something you want to add before I shut it down?
Nah, man, I like the way it was going.
Come on, man. So the things we'll do for man. This just give y'all some quick wisdom, man. Something to think about. That we don't take the Lord's word as a commandment, man. Right? They're called commandments, meaning he's commanding us to do it. Meaning if he was a dictator, you would have no option. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all are going out to vote as if they're putting a gun to your head to vote. Like you have no option. Like I just have no option. I gotta vote. Man, they done put you in a system and you scared of man. You don't think you scared of man, but you scared of man because if I don't show my voter sticker, people gonna think I'm a bad citizen. And now you worried about the country you live in. Don't you know that God control the country you live in? You should be worried about God, right? But that I'm gonna say, man, shalom,
Shalom.
right? If you're not gathering together, man, you scattering the flock. Hopefully, Lex signing out. We should be on tomorrow. Our trumpets is tomorrow, man. So happy trumpets, blowing of the trumpets to all the nation. Um, the video, I don't know if it will be live or if it will be recorded and uploaded, but we will be having a video for our trumpets tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Lord willing. Khan, I'm Azrael. This is Denal. He's signing out.
Shalom.